I was going through the articles for this week, and I actually had to laugh a little.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like an uncomfortable laugh, because we always think of people-pleasing as this soft skill,
It's
right?
the acceptable flaw that we're going to use in a job interview.
My biggest weakness. I just care too much.
Exactly. It's almost a good thing. Harmless.
Yeah.
But then I opened this deep dive into the book of Hosea, and the source material just flat out says that people-pleasing is, well, it's a tool for political corruption and spiritual rot.
It's a massive reframe.
It's not nice. It's dangerous.
Yeah, we're looking at this really specific analysis of Hosea chapter 7, verse 3, and the line is just, it's chilling. They please the king with their evil.
Oh.
And the argument is that this isn't just ancient history. It's about a transaction, a trade. You trade your integrity for what? Approval? Safety? Just to have a quiet life.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to trace that pattern because it starts with this king way back when, but it ends up in our offices today.
Yep.
It's an ecosystem of compromise. And what's so striking about this source is how it treats this whole thing as a repeating pattern, specifically within, a community of faith.
Okay, so let's set the scene. To get this whole pleasing the king thing, the source says we have to go back. Way back.
Before Hosea even.
Yeah, to the guy who basically built the whole system of compromise, a guy named Jeroboam.
Jeroboam, son of Nebat, first king of the northern kingdom of Israel. The nation has just ripped itself in two.
Civil war.
Yep. And Jeroboam, he's got 10 of the 12 tribes. He's got the land. He's got the army. But he has one huge, glaring problem.
He doesn't have Jerusalem. He doesn't have the temple.
Exactly. The whole spiritual heart of the nation is in the south, in basically enemy territory. And the text, it highlights Jeroboam's inner monologue, and it sounds so modern.
It's all anxiety.
It's pure political anxiety. He's thinking, if my people keep going south to worship, their hearts are going to follow. They'll kill me and go right back to the old dynasty.
It's a retention problem. He's scared of losing his base.
That's all it is. And his solution, you have to admit, it's brilliant.
Evil, but brilliant.
Absolutely. He doesn't ban worship. He knows that would cause a riot. So instead, he innovates. He sets up 2 brand new worship sites, puts up a couple of golden calves, and gives the people a sales pitch.
And I wrote this line down because it sounds like it's from a marketing meeting. He says, "It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem."
Isn't that incredible?
That's so slow.
It's too much for you. He's not saying, worship these idols. He's saying, I'm saving you the commute. He's framing full-blown idolatry as a convenience feature.
Why drive 80 miles, deal with the traffic when you can worship right here? I'm making your life easier.
And that's the hook. He wraps this profound spiritual betrayal in the language of service.
But hold on, golden calves. Wouldn't people see right through that? That's like the number one thing you're not supposed to do.
You would think, but he's so clever. He points at them and says, here are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt.
Oh, wow.
He uses their foundational story of freedom to enslave them to a new counterfeit system. It looks close enough, but it costs them nothing.
And the source calls this the moment a strategic decision becomes a spiritual catastrophe. But here's the part that really gets me. It worked.
It worked perfectly.
Nobody revolted. They just went with it.
And that is the absolute core of the argument. The people stopped asking, what does God require? And they started asking, what works for me?
And Jeroboam offered them a religion that demanded less. Less travel, less effort, less everything.
The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
The source puts it so well. Obedience was replaced with preference, and truth was sacrificed on the altar of comfort.
So that's the beginning. They please the king with their evil. It's a two-way street. Jeroboam pleases them with convenience, and they please him with loyalty.
And once you establish that truth is negotiable, well, things can get much, much darker.
Which is where the source jumps forward a few generations to show us what the system looks like when it's fully grown.
To the time of King Ahab.
Right. Ahab and Naboth's vineyard. I remember this story, but it's always told as, a story about a greedy king. This analysis flips the camera.
It focuses on everyone else.
Yeah.
The community. Because with Ahab, you see the system completely weaponized. The setup is simple. Ahab wants a vineyard. It belongs to his neighbor, Naboth.
It's right next to the palace. He wants to plant a vegetable garden. Seems reasonable enough. He offers to buy it.
A fair price, even. But Naboth says no. And his reason is the key to everything. He doesn't say, I want more money.
No, he says something like, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors.
Exactly. This wasn't just real estate to him. In Israelite law, Land was a sacred trust from God. It was his family's identity. He literally could not sell it without violating his conscience.
He's the guy who won't play ball. The one person in the meeting who says, no, I can't sign off on that.
He's the inconvenience to power, and Ahab's reaction is just pathetic. He goes home, lies on his bed, and sulks.
He's the most powerful man in the country having a temper tantrum.
And then Jezebel comes in, and she doesn't care about Israelite law. She sees her husband pouting and basically says, "Are you the king or not? I'll get it for you."
And this is where that people-pleasing thing gets terrifying. She doesn't send her guard. She doesn't do it herself.
No. This is the detail the source just hammers on. She writes letters, seals them with the king's seal, and sends them to the elders and nobles in Naboth's own city.
His neighbors.
The people who knew him, the leaders of his community. The letter is an instruction manual for murder. Proclaim a religious fast, find false witnesses, accuse Naboth of treason, and stone him.
And they just do it.
Immediately. No questions asked. No, wait, this seems weird. Naboth's a good guy. Nothing. They execute an innocent man based on a letter.
Why? That's the question that just hangs there. Why would an entire city council agree to murder their neighbor?
They knew it was a lie. But the source argues they did it for one reason: to please the administration, to keep the peace.
To not rock the boat.
The text says, when Naboth was gone, Ahab was pleased, and no one protested. That's it. They traded one man's life for their own security and comfort.
It's the complete collapse of integrity. It wasn't just the king's sin anymore. It became a communal project.
It's evil by committee. And the horror isn't just the cruelty from the top, it's the cooperation from the bottom.
Okay, so that brings us to the pivot. This is where the source stops talking about ancient Israel and starts talking about, well, us.
It asks that brutal question. Christian, before we distance ourselves from Israel's sin, we must ask, are we really so different?
And my first reaction is, yeah, of course I'm different. I haven't stoned anyone lately.
I don't have any golden calves in my house.
Right. But the argument is that we still have kings.
Oh, absolutely. The king is just whatever power structure holds the keys to your security, your status, your peace of mind.
So like your boss.
Your boss, your friend group, a political movement. It could even be your church culture, any person or group whose disapproval you fear.
And the source gets uncomfortably specific. It says we please these kings with our own evil. But the examples, they feel so small compared to murder.
Right. It goes from stoning Naboth to taking office supplies home.
Or using pirated software, laughing at an inappropriate joke, exaggerating results on a report.
It almost feels like a letdown. Like, is stealing a stapler really the same as killing Naboth?
That feels like a stretch, doesn't it?
I get it. But I think the point isn't about the scale of the sin. It's about the mechanism. It's about how the conscience gets trained.
Okay, and I bet that.
Why do you stay silent when your boss says something unethical? Why do you fudge the numbers just a tiny bit on that expense report?
Because I don't want to get fired. I don't want to be the problem. I want to fit in and get the promotion.
Exactly. You are choosing to please the king, your boss, the group, over what is true and right. The source says speaking up might cost us approval, promotion, or peace.
And nobody wants to be Naboth.
Nobody. Naboth gets crushed. We want to be the elders who get another letter from the palace thanking us for our cooperation.
So all those little gray area sins, they're not really gray, are they? They're tribute payments. We're paying tribute to the king of social approval.
That is a fantastic way to put it. Which leads to this idea in the text of shared sin.
How does that work?
It's safety in numbers. When the whole group agrees not to question something, the evil starts to feel normal. Justified, even.
If everyone is doing it,
then it can't be that bad. If the boss rewards the shady tactic, it's not a sin, it's just company policy. If the whole friend group gossips, it's not cruel, it's just venting.
It's like it spreads the guilt so thin you can't even feel your piece of it anymore.
We comfort each other in our compromise. But then the source just drops a hammer and says, God sees, he remembers.
Oof.
It reframes all these little social compromises, not as being savvy or smart, but as an act of offense against God.
Comforting each other in sin, that phrase, it's devastating.
And that's why, according to this analysis, the Christian calling has to be so radically different. It has to be countercultural. It has to be willing to be awkward.
The source brings in that line from Acts. We must obey God rather than men.
Which is the ultimate choice, isn't it? You have to pick a king, and the text points to Jesus as the complete opposite of a people pleaser.
Which is funny because he was popular. I mean, he drew huge crowds.
He did. But look at how he handled it. He never, ever softened his message to keep the crowd. When they wanted him to be a political king who gave out free food, he refused.
He gave them hard teaching instead, and a lot of them left.
He was the anti-Jeroboam. He cared more about obedience to the Father than about retention rates. He spoke the truth when it cost him everything, his followers, his reputation.
And his life. He was the ultimate Naboth. He refused to give up his inheritance, his truth, and the elders of his day killed him for it.
That's a powerful parallel. He broke the pattern. He didn't participate in the shared sin. And the source really frames this as the fundamental test for every Christian. It asks, will we shape our lives around what pleases God or what pleases people?
And that is a hard road. I mean, let's be honest. Standing up and saying, I don't think we should do this, or, hey, let's not talk about them like that, it makes you an outcast. It feels awful.
Oh, it does. The source admits that. It says, faithfulness often feels costly in the moment. You might lose that promotion. You might get left out.
You might get labeled as holier than thou.
There is a real social price you have to pay for integrity.
So why pay it?
Because, and this is the promise, compromise always costs more in the end.
Always.
Look at the examples. Jeroboam's compromise cost him his dynasty and ultimately led to his nation's destruction. Ahab got his vegetable garden, but he lost his soul.
And for us, what's the cost of just staying quiet to keep the peace at work?
The cost is your integrity, your witness. If we look and act and compromise just like everyone else, what do we actually have to offer that's different?
It's about changing our primary allegiance.
That's it. It's about recognizing that God is the only true king. And when you really get that deep in your bones, suddenly pleasing your boss or your friend group seems a lot less important.
It's actually freeing in a weird way.
It's terrifying and freeing all at once. You stop asking what works, and you start asking that original question.
What does the Lord require?
And that changes everything.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from golden calves to office politics.
From ancient Israel to right now.
If you had to boil this all down for someone driving to work about to walk into the court of their own king, what's the one thing to remember?
The danger is the drift. It's 1,000 tiny nods of agreement when you know you should be shaking your head. It's the slow, steady prioritization of human approval over God's.
And we do it together. That's the part I can't shake.
We do, but the flip side is also true. We can be the community that supports each other in doing the right thing. We can be the elders who protect Naboth instead of stoning him.
I love that. Okay, so here's a final thought to take with you to make this real. The source talks about the maintenance cost of compromise.
Right. Every little lie, every corner you cut, it takes energy to maintain. You have to remember the story, suppress your conscience.
So ask yourself this. Where in your life right now are you paying a maintenance cost to keep a king happy? A silence you're keeping, a small dishonesty. Identify it, and then ask yourself, is it really worth the price?
Because that bill always comes due.
It always does. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'd really encourage you to open up Hosea. It's a tough book, but it is so relevant.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.